officially live out here. So, good morning to John
What
Anthony.
up?
Late morning. Good afternoon to Discreet because it is almost 5 o'clock p.m.
It is.
Discreet time in the UK. And we're gonna get off popping here in a minute as soon as we link in Instagram as well. But I want to say good morning to y'all. Good morning or afternoon, wherever y'all are tapping
Morning
in.
to
The
America.
outsiders. Yeah, man, we got Discreet over in the UK. John Anthony, who is joining us today, is out in Connecticut, where I originated from. And before we get to his introduction, I'm gonna let you know who we are if y'all are opening that door for the first time here with We Outside. We Outside, we just get out here, Discreet and I, and we find some dope creative people to have some conversations with, like we're going to have with John Anthony today. And, we get to just know them through there's nothing scripted about what y'all are about to hear. This is just real organic conversation, with us. And that's where we're going to go. So with that said, without further ado, I want to give an introduction to John Anthony. And Discreet, you don't even necessarily know exactly how I met John Anthony, and that's where we're going to start, because I think that's the best way to introduce him, and why I wanted to get him live outside with us, because we met him after the Porsche event. Discreet, you know about the Porsche event that I was in Connecticut for a couple weeks ago.
Excuse me.
We went out for a minute. We went outside again for a manager's meeting, and we were at Illicit Brewing. I think is it Illicit Brewing that we ended up linking up?
Brewing in Fairfield. Yeah.
So we headed out there, and then we ended up running into John, and it was funny because John Anthony and we met 4 of his friends that night as well. A dope crowd. I mean, we and Discreet and I know about building a dope team around you, which John Anthony has around him. But we met him and his whole team outside, Discreet, and it was dope because they had gone to I don't know if it was like a 90s hip hop party earlier that night, but they were all wearing bandanas and band-aids, Discreet, right?
Got ya.
So we were at our table, we were like, yo, look,
that sounds like my element, a 90s hip hop party. I'd love that.
And we were like, yo, dude, the conversation started with us at our table. Yo, do these cats even know who Nelly is? Because that's exactly who we thought. So 2 people, Wendy and Libby, went over and started having a conversation with them, and that's exactly what they had dressed up for that night. And then so they ended up sitting down at our table. Come to find out that John Anthony had actually shot for Tone, in the past. So we all just we're sitting down, we're having dope conversation. And then me, this dude Matt Basilio, and John Anthony, we end up outside. We're smoking, we're having a cigarette, and then John Anthony and Matt Basilio start talking about this movie, The Terrifier.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I had heard about it, but I had no idea what was going on here. So they're having this conversation, and John Anthony's taking the position that Terrifier 2 is a better movie than number 1. He had the appreciation that this dude had in his explanation for everything he was talking about. Discreet, we talk about how passionate we are with what we do. The thing that attracted me, the energy that attracted me to this dude very much happened when we were outside having a cigarette, because the passion of conversation and, the knowledge he was dropping about, the position that he was taking with Terrifier 2. Bro, I just sat there. I was just in awe, bro. And he got done talking. Matt looks at him right in the face. He's like, yo. He's like, bro, I agree with you, man. He's like, I still think number 1's better. But he's like, you win, bro. You win. So that's when I first got to know John Anthony and what he does. And most importantly, how passionate he is about film and filmmaking. So we're bringing you a filmmaker today, ladies and gentlemen. This dude, he's going to be bringing his shit to Sundance. He's going to be bringing his shit to Cannes. Y'all need to get to know this name, because you heard this dude's name here first outside. So with that said, that's my introduction of you, John Anthony. But go ahead and let the people know yourself, who you are, what you're about, bro, because we about to get in some really dope conversation, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you said, meeting you guys was funny, because we were coming from a Y2K, like early 2000s, like late 90s, like theme party. And I remember like my boys were like, yo, like what do we even wear? Like we got nothing. And I was like, yo, we just need a bandana and a band-aid. And they're like, yo, why do we need a band-aid? And I was like, you guys don't know about Nelly? And they're like, nah. I'm like, oh my gosh. All right. So I put on the band-aid, and it was at first it was my boys and his like roommates. So we all pulled up to the party with band-aids on, but like half of them took them off because people kept coming up to us and were like, why are the band-aids? Why are the band-aids? I'm like, how you gonna throw a Y2K party and not know like about Nelly and like the culture?
Yep.
I was like,
Exactly.
whatever, dude. So then after the party, me and my boys we decided to go to Illicit. We're chilling. We're about to order a drink. And Mike, like you said, what were their names again? I completely forgot.
It was Wendy and Libby that came
Wendy
over
and Libby.
and started
Wendy
speaking
and
with y'all.
Libby
Yeah.
came up to us and they're like, "Oh, are you guys doing that for Nelly?" And I'm looking. I think it was Wendy. And I'm looking at them, and I was like, "Yo, I'm so sorry. This might sound kind of weird, but I think I know you. Like, do you know Groove? Do you know these guys?" And I'm like giving her names. And they're like, "Oh my god, yeah." And then a few years back, I used to be a photographer and I used to take pictures for Groove at like the club scene in like Norwalk or whatever. And so then,
No.
and I haven't seen them in like years. So that's how we like connected again. We're like, oh my God, like out of all the nights, like that was just like a weird random occurrence, but it was really dope. And then, like you said, we went outside, we did our thing. And then I think we started talking about Terrifier because the third one had just come out. And I think, oh, yeah, they were talking. I think they were talking shit about the movies at first. They were saying that has like no plot. And I was like,
Uh-oh.
wait. Like the first one,
Not doing
maybe not
that.
so much, but like put some respect where it's due on these other two films. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I went deep into the whole franchise and how they do have a connective story and how, you know, the director of those films is kind of an inspiration, and he should be for a lot of independent filmmakers because he's really paving the way for us.
Yeah.
You hate his movies or not, if like horror movies are your thing, if they're not your thing, you can't deny the fact that he's making a big impact for independent filmmakers in the industry. Right now, his film Terrifier 3 is the number one unrated film in history. You know, and that's a big deal because he's an independent filmmaker. He made it on a budget of 2 million, which is still a lot of money, but like in the grand scheme of things for film, it's like baby money. It's not a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they had like marketing. They spent like less than $500,000 on marketing. And usually when you make a film, right? When you make a film, you have to send it to like agencies or like studios where they rate your film, like they give it the rating. If it's PG-13, if it's PG, they have to approve it first, so then they could send it out
Mm-hmm.
commercially. And then sometimes if it's like a rated R film, like a horror film or whatever, or like a drama, whatever type of rated R film you got, if it's like getting too extreme to the point where it's NC-17, which is like above rated R, or sometimes it even passes that and it becomes unrated, then usually a lot of times ask directors and the producers if they could cut it down, if they could cut down like the sex, or if they cut out, you know what I'm saying? Just like to make it more audience friendly.
Yep.
So everyone's making money. But this guy didn't do that. He didn't send it to the ratings people. He just kind of sent it to movie theaters. And because of that, like, his
Crazy.
film, I think I think domestically, I think it was, so here in the United States, it made 36 million on a budget of $2 million. That's a lot. And that's just here in the United States. That's just here. And it's just crazy because it's like, yo, he's proving that, you could do it. Anyone can
Yeah.
do it. If you
That's
got like a
wild.
strong enough vision and a strong enough voice, and you really got just your own artistic style, whether his case is making like really fucked up gory films, but you can do it, and if you create art that a lot of people like, those people will also stand up for your craft as well. And it's just an awesome thing. Like, I was talking about this with like my film professors about how we should kind of look into his story more and like maybe tell students about it, because it's inspiring to independent film,
I
Definitely.
agree. With that said, I got a question for you, bro. Because again, like I said in the introduction to you today, I could tell, bro, in that couple minute conversation that you were having with Matt, the passion that you have for this, bro. Like, I mean that, man. I mean that. I really, truly mean that, John. So,
Which shows
what inspired you, bro? What put you onto this path of filmmaking? And I know we've been talking specifically horror, thus far, but just filmmaking in general.
Yeah.
What got you on that path, bro? What inspires you to be a filmmaker and tell story through that medium?
Right. I mean, I've always been into films as a little kid. I mean, my first language was Spanish, so I used to watch all my movies in Spanish, and that's one of the things. Me and my family, they love film, right? My dad, film buff. You know, he loves his movies, and so he just sat me down and made me watch movies with him in Spanish, and then uh, as I was getting into school, like kindergarten, first grade, I had to learn English. So then I had to rewatch my favorite movies that I like Shrek. Like I remember Shrek 1. I remember watching it in Spanish and then I had to rewatch it in English and I rewatched it in English so much. And I actually learned English a lot through watching movies, like through watching the same movies that I just watching it in English again. So that's how I learned. And then I don't know, like it was just something me and my dad would do a lot. Every Sunday with my whole family, actually, we would always have like movie nights, make film, and I remember just being like in awe. And I would love reading. I loved reading, and I would write stories as a little kid. And then I always just had that at the back of my head that I want to make movies. I mean, I actually have a book that I had that we made like in third grade, right? Like it was like a collective of like poems and shit that you make with your whole class. And it's usually your parents or whatever. And I think like in the poem or something, I was like 8. I said like I want to do film. I didn't say film, but I said I want to make a movie. I wonder how movies are made. And it was like about film. And I forgot all about that. And I actually refound that book like a few months ago. And I was like, damn, like I always wanted to do this. And I'm out here and I'm doing it, which is really dope. So
no, right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of things inspire me. My family, my friends, real life situations. Other stuff, other works of art that I watch or read, and I'm like, damn, and it inspires me. And as much as I love horror, I just also just love art in general. I love all types of genres of movies. I love art. I love paintings. I love drawings. I love reading. I do admit though I don't read as much as I'd like to anymore because just life is so crazy. But yeah, I used to read a whole lot as a kid. So just a big imagination.
It's dope, and I think that it's and for me as an artist as well in a different medium, for me it's like, where do you get that inspiration from? And I think it comes from multiple different places.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, like sometimes like when I'm in a funk, like I was in a funk this summer when I started on a new style of writing, right? And I just had a roadblock and I just couldn't get past it. And I ended up drawing, and I don't draw at all. But I took like a solid 4 to 5 hours. And the challenge that I was having was really connecting with the beat in the way that the producer, which was not discreet, was trying to have me to. And I ended up drawing my feelings of the beat out. And then that really just inspired me to then like immediately, like it like clicked.
I remember when this happened.
Yeah.
Right?
That's so fire. What'd you draw? Were you doodling? Like, was it just like?
Nah, bro. I'm gonna find it. I got it somewhere. I'm gonna find it before the live cast is out, but I'll explain it. So essentially, what I was feeling was like there's a darkness in this world, right? But there's so much beauty in the world, right? And we always talk about like a yin and a yang, or a healthy balance, or too much of one thing is bad for us, right? So like my interpretation of this beat as it came into drawing was I took all the beautiful things that kind of just inspired me in the world. Like I wrote the pyramid. I wrote I drew Jesus, the statue of Jesus down in Brazil. I can't think of I know what you're
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I wrote this. I made this beautiful world. Like I literally wrote a circle to kind of like represent the world, but I left like a little small sliver open to like allow darkness in, right?
Mhm.
And so like I had this big plume of like smoke on the outside, like slowly creeping in. I had like trees. I had like a house, like what people think is a good life, right? But like without
Mm.
that good, there is no there's no dark, and vice versa. To me, is how I
Yeah.
look at it. There's no dark without good as well. So I was kind of trying to interpret it as the healthy balance and the message that I was trying to convey, but most importantly for this track, where I needed to go in the past, if that makes sense, to really write this track, because I connected with a part of myself in the past from Bridgeport that I don't want to say that I had like closed the chapter on, because that wasn't the case, right? But something that I reflected on in a way where I hadn't reflected on in the past, and it opened up some different memories for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was a dope experience, because going through that experience really allowed me to connect with the beat through drawing, which I don't do, and I don't do well. But this drawing actually came out. It came out pretty fucking dope from the interpretation standpoint that I was looking for. And
That's
I,
dope. That's
so
cool.
I've got it. I'll share it with you and everybody.
Yeah, I gotta see this now.
For
Yeah.
real, bro. But yes, to the reason I went on that soapbox was the inspiration that you talked about through different mediums, and I think it's dope as artists. My wife is an artist. My wife is working on becoming a tattoo artist right now, and so it's dope to be able to get inspiration from other individuals like that, or like yourself, honestly, John Anthony, because Discreet and I talk about it all the time. Like, I think film obviously is just it. You're telling a story. You're telling a longer story. You have short films as well, right? But I think what's really dope about the connection of film and music is with music, you could tell that those moving pictures now you can enhance that message that, like, you, for example, as the director, the filmmaker, you can utilize music now to enhance it, and that message that you're trying to convey gets stronger and more powerful when you could put some music behind it. And that intrigues the hell out of me.
100%. 100%. I mean, I get a lot of my inspiration actually, like right now, from listening to music. If I'm struggling with something, I can't come up with something, I'll just put on my headphones and I'll listen to music. I'll try and listen to music of what I'm feeling in the moment, type of thing. Like if I want to make a very serious drama music, I'll put on like a lot of violins and string instruments or something. Like music really, like, for some reason, paints like the whole picture of film in my head. Like, one thing is for me to like write it in my script or whatever, but then once I listen to that music as I'm writing the script, it's like I'm visualizing everything I see. So I love music a lot, and sounds, and like you said, like music and film, I think, are in a way of yin and yang, because it ebbs and flows, and it makes it much more powerful. And it's really interesting too, because adding music can make a scene really, really powerful, like a moment in a film really, really strong and powerful, but also lack of music could also have the same effect. So it's like with film and music, it kind of, they're like, I don't know, I guess they're like parallel lines, how I kind of view it sometimes. And then I mean, it's just they work together so well, like peanut butter.
I can help you with that sometime as well, I reckon, John. I'd be more than happy to help you. I love making scary music.
You do? For real?
Yeah, I do.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm trying to score right now for my one of my horror films that I'm making. It's dope.
Only thing at the moment, I'm out of action until the beginning of December, basically. But when that comes, I'll definitely get in touch and I can help you.
For sure, I'll let you know too, because I would love to have like I have such a distinctive vision for the music for my film that I would love to sit down and just like, talk you through it, like what type of things.
I'm good at doing that as well, taking just what someone says to me and then taking that idea and normally coming back and they're like, yep, this is it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. I would love to I love working with people like that. It's so fire. and like that's why a lot of my college friends right now are like my really close friends because they're also in film. But I mean, we just bounce ideas back and forth. Like it's like it gets crazy whenever we're like hanging out. Sometimes where we're like we throw on some music, we do some other stuff, and then just like the ideas just go back and forth,
Exactly.
and then it's like this big thing, and then it's like holy shit, we're about to do this. Like all right.
You can even end up with too many ideas. I think me and Mike have had
that happens.
So many things, and it's like, right, this is gonna have to give, I think, or that might have to give.
Yeah, that happens too. That actually literally just happened to me on Friday. And I had to tell my boy, I was like, all right, I love your ideas right now, but let's just keep it simple. Like let's just strip it from the bare bones. And then we found out by working backwards and making it more simple, our idea is actually a lot more fire. So
we had that problem a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, Mike? We just found we're just getting too much on the plate, wasn't it?
Yes, and sometimes you just got to take that step back, like you said, John, and just keep it simple. Take a breath. Even sometimes is keeping it simple. And sometimes it leads to just going back to the drawing board, like we did that with the Kenny Rogers track, Discreet. Like that ended up going because you're just like, oh, let me add, but then you listen to it, it's like, I think I missed the mark on this, right?
We're gonna come back to that. We will,
but that's okay. You know why that's okay? Because at the end of the day, when we are creating something as a producer, as a filmmaker, as an artist, listen, man. And I said this last week, Discreet, when you and I were talking. If you create something, there's no such thing as a failure. And here's why. Because number one, you are creating something that has not existed ever before in the entire world. That's wild. If you literally stop and think about that, I think we as artists, and I'll speak for me, but I'll speak generally as well. I think sometimes we get to be a little too hard on ourselves, right? Even if it's a project that doesn't exactly hit the mark of what we were looking for, you got to think about it from this perspective. We literally made something. We took something in our fucking mind and we created something that did not exist in the entire world before. And think about how long the world's been around. It's pretty wild if you actually stop and think about it from that perspective.
And then you bring something into it.
Yes. And
beautiful
I don't
thing.
Yes, and I don't think there's failure either. When you create something, I don't think there's failure because while it may not necessarily amount to whatever your goal was for that, right? Whether it's to get streams or to make money off it or whatever the case is, it's just a stepping stone in our process and our path to our own creative genius, because I think we're ultimately creating that as we go along.
I always find like the views and streams, that's not most important. It's just nice if you have one of them days where you're like, whoa, look at that, look how many views you got. It's nice, but it's not the be all and end all for me. It's just doing it. I think just being creative's like the best bit, I think.
I think
that's my opinion.
You're right. I mean, being creative and doing art, I think, makes everyone human. I think everyone, like, that's, I think the everything with like AI and all that stuff, it's like kind of getting scary. But I just don't think AI will ever get to the level that humans can with imagining things and creating things.
I think people are going to take it seriously enough. Like, people are not. Well, I would like to think people aren't going to use it, because if you're trying to be creative, what is the point in using AI? Because you're just writing something down, right? I want you to do this, that, and that, and then it does it, and it's like, have you been creative? Not really.
I think
I don't know.
It's AI is definitely gonna ramp up, I think, throughout. And especially within the film industry right now, it's a really big concern. Especially with like deep fakes. Do you guys know what deep fakes are?
Oh yes.
I don't. But
that's like a big issue, because
what is that?
I'll let you go ahead and explain that, because you'll probably do it more eloquently than I can. So you go ahead.
So for example, like, I could take your face, face and your voice, and I can put it on Mike.
Right. Got ya.
Deep fake is, and I can say, make you say like crazy shit. I mean, there's clips of the did a deepfake, I think, a few years ago when it was like at its like early stages of I think it was one of the Kay and Peele. They were doing a skit of Barack Obama, and it was like Obama
Right.
saying all this crazy shit, but it was
Yeah.
just that, and it was just to showcase how deep fakes are. And even now, I mean, it's a horrible thing, but there's websites where you can do basically revenge porn, and you can put you could put
Oh,
someone's face
Yep.
on like a porn star or something, and it looks uncanny. It's disgusting, but
bloody hell.
it's a
I
scary thing.
didn't know people were doing that.
Yeah, people are getting real creative, and they're using
That is
AI for
crazy.
a lot of evil. But I think it could also be used for good. You know, in the
Oh,
film
yeah.
industry, everyone is saying how they're scared that these actors are gonna get replaced. You know, they're just gonna take the likeliness of an actor. They're
It'll
just
become a choice, I
and they're
reckon.
gonna put it on like a stunt double or something. You know,
I still think humans will become more useful in certain situations.
I think so too. I think so too. But I think it's smart to not just we can't reject it entirely, right? Because it's just
No, it will be useful in
gotta use it.
some.
We got to use it
Yeah,
to our advantage. We got to use it as like tools to help us create instead of trying to like bog it down and not use it at all. But we got to use
No, I
that shit to our
agree.
advantage, and that's what makes us better, I think.
exactly.
Well, and I think you make a good point there, John Anthony, in the sense that let's be real, there's greedy people out there, and there's very much so in the music industry, the film industry, Hollywood as a whole, right? There is going to be somebody, and I think it's going to be very akin to what Napster was in the late '90s, mid
Yeah,
to late '90s, right? In the
I
sense
remember
that
that.
so I think it translates in the sense that it's still so new, right? It's got to get regulated in some way, shape, or form. But until then, like good luck, holding
Yeah,
it down, right? Because people are going to try to find it as the cheap way to make money, or some props or streams or whatever the case might be. And until it's really regulated and somebody comes out and says you can't do this, it's going to be done. Unfortunately, but there's still going to be the people that see the value in utilizing the real actors and actresses out there, or the real music, or whatever the case might be, to put out a true value product,
Yeah,
a quality product out there, as well. So again, it comes back to what we were talking about. What's your ultimate goal when you're creating something? And that's, I think, what's really ultimately going to determine the way an artist, a creative, is going to build something new, in their creative process. But that's just my thoughts.
I
For what it's
agree.
worth.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you guys a crazy example right now on how like deep fakes was used for film in a very clever and honestly, like I'll just say it. So there's this documentary on HBO
yeah,
Max. I forget the name of it. It's something called like Escaping Chechnya, which is like a place in Europe. And basically the whole documentary series is about how this town or country, I forget like the whole details of it, but they prosecute and they kidnap and kill gay people. So if you're just gay, they'll kill you. But the government there is like trying to keep that like under under wraps. They don't want people to know, but it's like really bad. Like there's like clips of like policemen just like literally breaking into your house if they hear it's like a witch hunt over
it's
there.
Russia, I think that is.
What's
Chechnya.
it
Yeah,
was crazy. And so what's so insane about this documentary is that, everyone working on this film or film series was putting their life on the line. They had to send over like their SD cards and hard drives like encrypted. It had to be like you had to do some like create in case like the government like intercepted it or something, and like then like found out.
yeah,
They had to do like crazy things to keep the people, because these are real people,
Dude.
to keep them safe and to make sure that they don't die and get prosecuted. And so what they would do there, okay, so then the issue was like, okay, how do we film these people without just like putting a blur face on them, right? Because audiences still have to connect. We still have to connect so we could feel empathy or whatever. So then they fake faces and put them on these real people,
yeah,
conceal their identity. it's like a completely fake face. It looks real though, but it was just made up to conceal their identity. And there's a scene, very powerful scene, where one of the survivors like comes out and talks to press, and you see like the camera, right, like the main film camera recording him as he's about to like reveal his full name, his first name or whatever. And as he's talking, he's like revealing who he is. The deep fake goes away and it's like his real face. But it's so like, it's like night and day. Like you can't even feel at first that it's like disappearing, and then it's like a whole new face, and you're like, oh my god, these people are actually geniuses for doing that.
Wow, and that's crazy.
It was dope. It was dope. I suggest you guys watch it because it's a crazy documentary.
Damn.
No.
Yeah.
That just sounds powerful, just you describing it. I can only imagine what it's going to be like to experience when I actually get to see that now.
At first, like as you were describing it, it reminded me of the film Face Off with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, deepfakes are basically Face Off. It
literally,
minus the whole like injection, like experimental. It's just like technology, though.
I love that film when it came out. That's a long time. That's probably over 20 years ago now, isn't it?
Yo, Castor Troy.
Castor Troy.
That film was a classic, though.
Yes.
It is. Yeah.
Yes, it is. They did very, very well with man, no doubt.
Got my attention, that film did.
John Anthony, I got a question for you. What does, with respect to your creative process as a filmmaker, do you have a typical process that you follow, or do you treat each project differently when you start to get an idea and you want to bring something, once you're kind of impregnated with that birth of thought, if you will, what's that process look like for you, or is it different kind of every time? Because like for me, it's for the most part similar. I know for Discreet as producer, to some extent, it's similar. Do you have like a process that you follow, or is everything just kind of?
I'll quickly just tell you, mine's going to change. I've been thinking long and hard about that. When I get back to producing, I've thought about a new way of going about things. So
I think it's I mean, interesting question. I would say it's different. It's always different for me, but I guess the initial spark of the idea is always when I'm listening to a song. It's either when I'm listening to a song or like I'm in the shower. That's when it, like, for some reason, it's just like the little spark. And then what I have to do is that I have to say it out loud. Because once I say it out loud, it's like a real idea.
Yeah.
I'll talk to like my friends or like my girlfriend about it. And then I'll like start thinking about it. And then I'll listen to more music. For my film that I'm going to shoot in December, what I did was I made a playlist of songs that fit the vibe of the characters and the universe that they're in. Okay. And then I'm going to make a playlist for like my two leads, as if they were like, so my two leads are Jessica and Todd. That's the characters in the film. So I'll make like a playlist for Jessica, and I'll make a songs that I think Jessica would listen to. And I'll make a playlist for Todd. And I'll be like, this is the type of music that Todd listens to. And then through that, you kind of, I think it'll help my actors realize like the type of people that they are.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Like real. I don't know how to describe it, but it really helps, I think, get into character with that. So
definitely,
I love that.
It's different every time for me.
That is like for me, I'd never thought of that, but if you told me, right, you've got to play someone and they listen to this type of music, that would give you one hell of an indication of how you've got to sort of carry yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
And I think for me, in this case, I really love it too because it adds layers. I'm not gonna just put like, I don't know, like hard rock or whatever. Like I'll put like different music that I think this can do. Like it'll go from like maybe heavy metal to like, I don't know, like a very soft spoken, like guitar only strum song, just to add that level of character that we all have.
Like,
we all know it's one specific type of genre, which we tend to kind of lean to one genre of music, but we listen to everything. And I think that's what also like shapes us in a way, is what we listen to and what we consume.
Definitely.
actors, you could tell a lot, I think, with a person
Mm.
by the art that they consume. So uh, that's a process that I love doing. I love making
Yeah,
players my characters. That's my favorite part. But
that is
I really like that a lot.
I do.
Here's why. Number one, I love music, and music is a universal language. What I love the most about that is people create characters, right? People create these personas for characters. But bro, you doing that is really taken it to another level for an actor or an
Yeah,
actress. Like, listen to the because think about it. To Discreet's point from a few minutes ago as well. Like, if he were to play somebody, and Discreet's not the best actor. All love, bro. It's just
I don't
facts,
know,
right?
man. I think I could be a good actor, you know. I really do.
I just got to give you the right playlist, I guess.
Yeah.
But he said he could truly, and it resonates, right? Because I'm the same way. I can listen to music and I can be like, yo, okay, I know what this character is about. I can have a strong
Mm.
understanding. So I think that's very impactful, and empowering for you as a director and a filmmaker to be able to give, because it's a whole different way of saying, okay, here on paper, here's who the character is. But now when you can put it into feelings and emotions of
Yeah.
music, bro, if that doesn't help an actor or an actress, I don't know what else really would. So,
yeah,
bro, like, I salute you for coming up with an idea like that,
thank
because
you,
That,
that's dope. That's
thank you,
dope.
thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's an idea that it's just like I love doing that shit. Like me, the only other person I know does that is one of my other friends, and when I remember he told me that he was doing some shit similar to that, I was like, no way, bro. Like I do the same thing, and it was just like
no
a big
way.
and then it really helps us. But I don't know anyone else that really does that too well. But people, I think, should start more. I guess if it helps actors, because I think getting a good actor is kind of I don't want to say difficult, but it's up to the director to get the good performance out of the actor, and
Mm.
it's for the director to kind of take those necessary steps to get like it's like a weird like a relationship I have with the actors, right? As a director, I want what's best for you, and you want what's best for me. Like we help each other, type of thing. So if I can make that process a lot easier for you, because at the end, like I know my vision, and you're just here to help me make my
Mm.
vision life. I'd love to help you in any way I can. So I do that.
Now,
Mm.
that leads me to a question for you,
Yeah.
because it's very similar for you from a production standpoint. What can you speak to from what John Anthony had just kind of mentioned as far as working with an artist, and it doesn't even have to be me if you want to use me as an
Yeah.
example. I'm curious what your thoughts are, because I think of that very similarly from a producer and production standpoint on a track or an album or
Yeah.
even whatever, very similarly to what John Anthony just described going through a filmmaking process.
Well, I'll give you an example. I remember once when me and Illness made a track. It's R&B by Illness with I can't remember what her name is. What's that black female comedian's name?
Oh,
She got like
Monique.
Monique. That's right. And all he said to me was, he told me to watch his show of hers. There was a few things she said that even when I listened to it, I was like, "Oh my god, I see what he's saying." And he said, "Right, but I want the track to feel like an emotional track, like a struggle track." And straight from there, and like these ideas just flood into your head. And well, I remember like how good I wanted that track to be, and I was just hoping that I could do it. And I remember how quickly it came together, and it's still one of my best tracks I've ever done.
That's
It's one of
dope.
my favorites. But sometimes all it takes is someone. I don't know. It's just someone can put an idea to you, but it's how it clicks in your head as well, I think.
Yeah.
And
That makes sense.
yeah,
John Anthony, talk to me about a time, if you could. You just want, since we're kind of talking about, building characters and the persona of those characters for your actors and actresses that you're working with in your films. Talk to me about a challenging time or like a challenging process when, maybe you were on set, or even just in general with an actor or actress, and you were trying to get something out of them, but they just weren't like getting it. If there's been a scenario and they just weren't like getting it, what's the process for you as a director, in working with that individual? And I asked that question specifically because, as like the actor, when I'm putting down a track, working with a producer or an engineer in the studio, that's kind of my role. I'm the actor in that scenario, right? Trying to get everything, the best out of everything. And I've been frustrated in those moments before. I've not necessarily been able to get that right off the bat, and I need some talking to, right?
Yeah.
For clarity purposes, I guess. So what's a process like that look like for you?
I mean, so what I'll do sometimes if that's going on, I like to ask them personal questions, not like super personal, crazy questions, but like like questions that like evoke some type of emotion. So, like, yo, all right, can you remember about the time where, I don't know, fucking your dog was dying? And they'll be like, yeah. And I'll be like, okay, you remember how you were feeling in that moment or whatever? And they'll be like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, yo, that's kind of the same type of emotion that we need for this scene. So if you can, go there. If you can't, don't. It's fine. But I'm just letting you know, like, that's the type of emotion we kind of want in a scene like this right now. Or, just trying to relate it to personal experiences, I think, because everyone has like personal like shit that they went through. For example, if I'm trying to think of another example where I guess I'd give a directional, because the thing about directing too, and like trying to get something out of a person, is that you don't want to be an asshole, right?
No,
you don't want to, because at the end of the day, they're there for you. And what's so dope about acting and directing and filmmaking in general is that sometimes the actor will perform it in a way that you didn't think about it in your head, and you're like, wait, I actually like that a lot more. Let's roll with that. And that's when like the actor also gets a lot of, they can also, share their creativeness and their imagination.
Improvisation, if you like.
Type of thing too, and not even just improv. It's just how they read the scene, like how they read the line. Maybe they're saying in a way that I didn't intend for them to say it, but I'm like, wait, I like how that sounds. And it's just like the subtle nuances that actors do with like their faces.
I'll give you an example of that. It reminds me of, you've probably seen it before. There's a clip of Snoop Dogg and someone else. It's like an old 60s movie that we're in. And he was telling Snoop Dogg something in the movie. And in the scene, he slapped Snoop Dogg. And there was nothing in the script to say to slap him, but he did. Yeah. And it went really well. And Snoop almost smashed him back in the face. But he stopped himself and thought, no, that went well.
Yeah.
But that wasn't in the script, and Snoop Dogg took it and thought, "No, all right, that worked." But I was not expecting that.
I mean, yeah, it's for stuff like that. It's a little trickier, right? Because when it's stuff, you don't want to put any actor in harm's way, because it also reflects you. Because then it's like, damn, cause being a director on set.
The other actor was something Vaughn. What's his name? Vince? No, I can't fucking think of it. Sorry. It might have been him. He slapped Snoop Dogg in a film when it wasn't in the script. I can't remember the film. It's going to bug me, that is now.
Snoop Dogg didn't know it was coming either. He just got smacked and
yeah.
If I was Snoop Dogg, I think I'd break character.
Snoop Dogg, he took the slap, and his first thought was to literally punch him in the face, but he stopped and realized what he was doing. He's like, oh, he's trying to make the scene better. But he told him after the scene was cut, he said, I almost punched you in the face. He said, I was very close.
Yeah. That happens a lot, I think, for certain movies. It's people always accidentally get hit. I don't know why. I guess maybe the actor's like too into it and they want to
tell you,
good raw performance.
I'll tell you what Snoop said. I remember what he said now. He said when he done it to him, he said the N in me wanted to punch him in the face, and he said then the actor in me said not to.
And I bet you could like see the thinking and the performance too, where, you know, I think all the best acting is when you can see them thinking, right? You can see like the character thinking and processing emotions. And that's another thing I think that helps actors is you remind them what the scene is real quick in one word or two words. Like let's say they want to get out of a car and the scene is like they're getting kidnapped. They're not conveying that energy of like, holy shit, I gotta get out of here. I would shout something out like, you're getting kidnapped right now. Okay, like you're getting abducted right now. You are gonna die. What are you gonna do?
Real life.
And then they're like, okay,
Take
shit.
yourself there, innit?
This is what's going on right now. This was happening, you know. And I also can't say for like emotional scenes, I can't say something like, can you just act more sad? Can you if I give directional directing, it's kind of an oxymoron in a way because you can't give directional directing. Because if I tell you straight up like do this, do that,
what are they doing there?
It gets like robotic because then they're not thinking about the script. They're trying to memorize the lines and trying to do it a way that you want them to do it rather than it like flowing naturally.
Well, that makes sense, right? Because when you're creating something like that, you want it to be as authentic and real as possible, right? So how do you get out of that? And, you know, kind of to what you're talking about before, Discreet, I think there's a way, and it's definitely, you know, been done in TV shows and movies. I honestly even think a perfect example of that is wrestling. And here's what I mean by that. Is creating improvisation by not letting know the other party involved what is going to be said. So you as the director, you as that actor, you might be trying to, you know, create and convey that like you were talking about, John Anthony, a few minutes ago, you want the real thinking to go on. So here you have an actor or, you know, whoever's a part of this other scene going on, and they're walking in either, you know, maybe expecting something differently or not even knowing what to expect in a give and take, right? And then, you know, something happens that they would least expect. But now it's like, okay, let's see how they react now. So it might be somewhat staged, but it's going to kind of be like a mix of being staged for the scene, but the improvisation of what this individual's reaction is going to be now, you know, which, you know, very much verbally, but discreet. We've talked about it on this show before, and I know this very much translates into film. 55% of the communication process, ladies and gentlemen, just as a reminder to people that don't know this out there, 55% of the communication process is nonverbal. Nonverbal. That's
exactly
wild. I love that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, especially for scenes that you need someone to cry in, it's not always like, can you fake cry that sells the scene. It's how much the person is trying to not cry that sells that's emotional. Because I mean, we're all humans. We've all cried, you know. How often, you know what I'm saying? Like in real life, you try to hold back your tears a lot, and that's what I think kind of sells it. I think for like acting and everything, you just don't like immediately start bawling your eyes out. You know, it's a progressional thing, and I think that's how you get strong performances for crying too. It's
almost like taking yourself there, and then you feel the tears coming, then trying to stop it, but because you've already taken yourself to that place, then it looks more real because you're trying to stop it because you don't actually want to go there.
Yeah, and in a way, yeah, it's like you don't want to cry, but like let's you know, and trying not to cry always makes you look like you want to cry even more. And acting and in real life, I think that's what so it helps. Yeah,
very true.
Nah, the cell is important, as you were talking about, for the authenticity, you know, of it for sure. What's the thing that you enjoy most, John Anthony, about filmmaking? And there may be more than one, but you know, just in
that's a quick question, a real quick answer. How old are you, John? Sorry,
I'm 21.
Wicked. Carry on. Bloody hell.
I think my favorite part is just being able to work with a lot of people, especially right now because I have the privilege of working with fantastic people. You know, I work on their stuff, they work on my stuff. You know, we're all working on each other's stuff, so we kind of like get to know each other a lot more. But I think the best my favorite part about filmmaking, and I'll notice this with like my friends or like other people that are making films, and I'm just working on the set. I'm like, damn, how beautiful is it that so many people are coming together to make your vision real? Like, that's just, why would they do that? Why would this person help me out make something that was just in here? Why? And it's just like a very, and then like there's, when you like take a step back and you're looking, it's like a very tender, sweet moment that you feel, because you really feel like, wow, it's connecting with people enough that they want to help me. You know, they're asking me questions like, I'm the boss on this set, like what, why, like, you know what I mean? It comes kind of surreal to the point where, I don't know, it gets you emotional. It gets me emotional sometimes,
Yeah.
you know?
I don't know, you two have probably done this, right? I do it sometimes. You go back to that point where you first thought in your head, I want to do this, I want to do that. And it's just an idea. And then 3, 4, 5 years later, you've done it or you're doing it. And you think, no way, it was just a part of my imagination 3, 4 years ago. And now I've done it.
Yeah. And
that's a buzz as well.
Yeah.
I always find that's a bit of a buzz. It's like, yes, I knew I could do it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, just, you know, like working on something, writing something, and then for it to like finally be real is an insane feeling, whether your film is going to be bad or good. I think that's what makes it so like, I don't know, like powerful. Like,
it is, isn't it? Makes you realize that we really can do anything we want as long as you're passionate about it.
Like, as long as you got passion, you got the grit for it, you can do it.
Exactly.
And that's why I personally, I don't really like shitting on movies unless they're really, really bad. And, you know, it's obviously like a studio mandate type of project. And like the director, like the people get much word and say into it. But because I know the process of filmmaking, like I see the shot that you try to shoot. Crazy shot, but you missed, but I could still recognize that you still took that shot. And that's why I love movies, and I don't really like to talk badly about other films unless it's like studio mandate, or unless it's like purposely done to like piss you off, or it's like disrespectful.
Can I tell a quick little story? You made me giggle then when you said you don't like to shit on other movies, right?
Yeah.
Once upon a time, years ago, I was with a girlfriend at the time. We were in a shop, and she wanted to get a movie to watch. I wasn't really interested. I wasn't really thinking movie night, but she was like, "Oh, look at this!" Right, and the title of the movie was something like "fucking Anaconda versus fucking Crocodile," and I was just like, "That is going to be the worst movie you've ever seen in your life." She was like, "No, it won't. No, it won't. I'm going to watch it anyway, and you can do what you want." So I was like, "Okay." So she went off and watched this movie, right? And she came to me 2 hours later after watching it, and she goes, "That was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life." I was like, what? Didn't you not read the title?"
That's fine.
It was in the title. It was a rip-off of like Terminator vs Predator. It was like it was trying to do that sort of thing, but with two great big mammals of the, animal kingdom. And
I'm not saying I don't shit on, I just don't really like to sometimes, but I've watched bad stuff, just like I've listened to bad stuff for.
Yes.
No, I disagree. I think we can both, that resonates with us both, because I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of with you, John Anthony. I'm at the point now, being as creative as I am now with my music over the last like year plus, couple of years in general, I have a different appreciation for the creative process, right? And I can't come out here unless like you. It's just like, really, because there's some people that literally make things terrible on purpose, right? And it's resonating.
But why?
They want the stream. Well, they want the streams. They want people to be talking about how stupid it is.
Still don't understand how the fuck J. Cole let that fucking grippy shit be released. I don't understand why Drake was on that fucking track with.
That was funny. That was fun.
Yeah, but the grippy track, J. Cole, that was weird. I still don't understand it. It's like, what? That was probably one of the worst songs that's ever been released.
but here we are months later, and you're talking about it.
It's strange, very strange.
Well, it's like discreet, and I don't know if I talked about this dude, and honestly, John Anthony, I don't know if you remember this dude or this company even still around. Bob's Discount Furniture in Connecticut. Okay, so discreet. So this dude, I remember growing up in the mid to late '90s, whatever it was, in that area. Bob's Discount. He had the most horrible commercials. Like they were pink flamingos and stuff that just made no sense for a furniture store.
Yeah.
But here I am 25 years later, remembering Bob's Discount Furniture.
You're still thinking about it.
You know, I remember that.
Maybe there is a bit of logic behind it then.
There is, man. There is, for whatever the reason, and we may not know what the reason for, but people create things for different reasons. And that's okay. And that's why I subscribe to that, because even the people that are making shit to be terrible on purpose for whatever the reason, you know what? No, it doesn't do it for me. But at the same time, you know, if it's doing it for them for whatever reason that they're doing it for and they're happy, you know what? Salute to you. Like, honestly, like I can't hate on that.
Yeah, I've got a point.
Just like, you know, discreet, it's me versus me. Like, I'm not going to care what anybody thinks about my music or my messaging at the end of the day, because I'm not making my music for everybody. Just like John Anthony's not making his films for everybody. And you know what? That's okay. Because not everybody has to like whatever somebody's creating.
Well, with me and John, I mean, he likes making scary movies. I like making scary music, right? You know, you've got to know going into that there's going to be people who's not going to like it because it's scary. But I don't care. As long as I like it, then that's all that matters. That's the main thing, isn't it? You've got to like it first.
Oh, 100%. My past projects that haven't been horror related, I made like a few documentaries. I made like a drama. You know, I as long as I come out satisfied and be like, you know what, I'm fucking proud of that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. You know. I like, damn, I feel like I did do a good job on this, and the people that helped me killed it as well. Like, you know what, fuck it. Like, regardless if it's good or bad, I'm proud.
Exactly, that's the thing. And as long as you liked it, fuck the rest of it.
Well, and I think discreet, you know, to what John Anthony just said, and what you brought up in the context of that J. Cole track and that Drake track, I think that the important thing is it's just about continuing to create. Just don't ever stop. You've got to keep on just creating. Because that's how I think that's how we as creatives.
I've always got that story, haven't I? My mum, she said to me, "Don't stop." So I'm not going to unless my arms fall off.
Well, and even then, there's a solution to everything, man. And I think as long as you continue to have the passion and you have the right intent behind creating anything, then there's never a reason to stop creating.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because that's where the real value is. You know, John Anthony, you said, I think you said it the best way, man. As long as it's something that I could complete, whether I did it by myself or I involved other partners to bring this to life, if I'm proud of it at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah,
that is truly the only thing that matters.
Yeah,
because the intent was taking something that you had in your mind, bringing some other people that had the bits and pieces and value to help you bring that from your mind into creating it, and you accomplish that. Wherever it goes from there, that's not up to you to control. That's for the universe, right? You dropped it off. You delivered the baby, right? Which is your film, your film at that point, and you're proud of it. That's all that matters, man.
Yeah.
Let everybody else interpret that project however they want.
We'll judge it as they do, like it does. But sort of, you get to a certain age, like obviously you're a bit younger, but I get the impression you don't really care either. But I'm at the point where I don't care what people think of it once it's out there. Some people worry about that, don't they?
Yeah.
Is that actually great? No, great segment. I'm gonna put you right on the spot. Is that something that you have any care about at all, John Anthony? Like what people, not in the sense.
I only say that because I feel like younger people do worry more about what people think. But I don't know, John, could be different.
I think it's always at first. I'm like, damn, I not because I'm worried if they like it or not. I'm just worried if
Yeah.
they'll how it'll reflect on me as a creative, you know, where I'm like I don't want them to think you know, I'm like an asshole or whatever it might be, you know? But then I got to get out of my own head. I'm like, you know what, fuck it, whatever. Like,
I suppose you do need to worry a little bit because you're young. It will reflect on your future career, won't it?
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
it's art is subjective, and that's something that I'm trying to learn a lot. And I think I have, you know, especially now, I care not as much anymore. Maybe I still do a little bit, but yeah, I'm totally cool with people not liking my work. I'm cool with that. I'm cool if you like my work or you don't. I
suppose it's the how you treating people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like like I think my freshman year, I made 2 films and I submitted it to my school's film festival, and they got in, which was fire. But
Awesome.
one of my films that won me like 3 awards, you know, I had people walk out of.
Damn.
It was kind of I don't want to say like divisive, but like, you know, kind of divisive. It was kind of like political, and some people didn't like that, and they like got up and left. But then I was like, damn, you know what? Like, I kind of like that's kind of fire. Like,
It is.
I made something that you got up and you had such a crazy reaction that
you've created something.
Like,
you've created an emotion in people.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna own that. And I did. It was cool.
I've got a quick question for Mike. Mike, the other day we were having a conversation about that film that you was watching, and you was on about that scene. This wasn't one of John's films, was it?
No, it wasn't one of John's
films.
I was
going to say, I didn't think it was.
It was one of the Terrifier films they were talking
about.
I was talking, John.
When we were talking about Terrifier, I wondered. I thought, is this one of John's films?
So I was telling him the scene, bro. I was telling him the scene in number 1 where the dude has the chick hanging upside down, butt naked, and he hacksaws right down the middle of her.
Crazy.
Yo,
I never thought I would. I don't think I want to see that scene. I don't think I didn't think I'd see a scene like that in a film ever. That's crazy. The fact you see it and you see a vagina, you see it all.
It's crazy. It's fucked up.
Damn.
Dude, these movies.
That sounds vile. That's fucking crazy.
But it's crazy. The director like does all the well, obviously with help, but he does a lot of the practical effects himself too.
Damn.
That's kind of like part of really.
These movies were so well done. So well done, man. Like so horrific and bro.
See, I didn't hear about these films until you started telling me the other day.
It's crazy, man. I'm telling you, that clown in those movies, like we're seeing like a horror icon being made right now. Like he's gonna be up there with like Michael Myers and Jason.
Yes, bro. You want to know? Running around here, I'm sure. I saw a lot of Terrifiers out there for Halloween this year.
No way.
A lot, bro.
Yeah, and it's gonna keep going up. It's gonna more people. I'm telling you, man. It's so cool. Like actually being able to witness like an icon being made. Right now. It's just way. It's like surreal almost too. It's like damn, you know, because other people have tried to in the past with like other horror IPs, and they've all been studios too, like studios that tried to, and this one independent filmmaker was able to do that. Crazy.
Art the Clown, baby. We still got to go see number 3. I got to see number 3.
Art 3 is crazy. Number 3 is definitely going to be like a fucked up holiday movie that you watch like during Christmas.
Yes.
If you want to like take a break from watching like, you know, your Home Alones or your like other sweet little Christmas movies, and you want to watch a fucked up Christmas movie, that's gonna be the one.
You know what? Speaking of holiday movies, I'm pretty sure you've seen this. One movie that I really appreciated and enjoyed, Thanksgiving. I didn't watch it. We watched it randomly like a couple months ago, my wife and I. Yo, that movie, I really enjoyed that movie. What are your takes on
that movie? Was fire. I loved it. I saw it in the movie theaters. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but I was like actually really surprised of how well it was and how gruesome it was too. That movie was fucked up. I was like,
right out of the gate, right out of that first scene in the supermarket. I looked over at my wife. I was like, yo, this movie's probably going to be pretty fucked up, but it's probably going to be pretty good.
You can tell from that opening scene, this movie's trying to tell us something.
Yes.
And that's dope. That's dope. I just saw this new horror movie that came out, Smile 2. Yo,
I saw number 1. I got to go see number 2, though. I got
number
2. Pretty good stuff.
Was insane. I went in with like almost no expectations because I was like, I heard people were saying it was really good. But man, I did not think it was going to be that amazing. It like literally, I think it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time now, I think.
Oh shit.
It was fucking phenomenal. I was floored. It was insane. And it felt like an art house movie. Like I couldn't believe it was coming from Paramount, like an actual like studio movie. And I was like, dude, this is fire. Like this is fire. Like
wow.
Because you could tell like the studio Paramount kind of like backed off and let the director do his thing. And when you let creatives do their thing, like trust them 100%, you make fire. And that movie was fire. It was amazing. So well done. So good. Like your jaw's just gonna be on the floor while watching it. You're gonna be like, holy shit, are they gonna go there? Are they really gonna go there? And they go there.
They do.
That's exciting.
You gotta give them props. You gotta give them props for doing that shit. The movie was so good. So good.
An old classic that I got reminded about the other day as well. I always loved it. Was Hostel.
Hostel, that movie's crazy.
Yes, because you know what got me about that film is because that like someone said to me when I mentioned it, they said that could really happen. I said, "What are you talking about? It does happen every day. That's like normal, or not normal, but do you know what I mean? Like on the dark net, it's normal. You go on the dark net, that's something you can find whenever you like." And it's like when the person said to me that could happen, I was shocked. I was like, "Oh my god, you need to open your eyes. That does happen on the daily."
Yeah, it happens more than
people think.
Like reality is stranger than fiction. Like sometimes life is much crazier than like what we watch and like film or like what we read and everything. But I think Hostel, I think what it was kind of trying to do as well was kind of in a weird fucked up way be like, hey, this is a real thing that's happening.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these are real issues type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think because all the best movies, what they're trying to do is try and tell you a message of whatever they want to tell you. But
yeah, exactly.
All movies do that. All the good ones have a real deeper message.
Because life imitates art. Life imitates art, right? And art imitates life. Like certain ideas or things that come up, it comes from somewhere. We talk about it all the time. Discrete, music.
Yeah.
We're all influenced somewhere. Like We Outside, like the We Outside track. How many different We Outside tracks are out there?
It gets me
world, right? But it's my different interpretation.
The biting, back in the day where they would argue, no one really was the same, but you can't bite off people, and it's like, well, that's impossible in a way. If you start making music, you can't make music unless you heard music before.
Exactly.
It's just impossible. You don't know what you're doing if you didn't hear music. So you've been influenced.
Yeah.
That's my argument with that.
Arduous. I always hear. I think I heard this saying where it's like, "Great artists steal." That's what. That's
yeah. It's like, well, you sort of. It's not stealing. You're just. I want to do that, but do it in my own way.
Yeah, it's not like you're actually stealing, but
but it is. You can't make music without listening to me. You can't make movies without seeing a movie. You can't build a house without seeing a house. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
it
just applies to everything.
There's influences all over the world, everywhere, anywhere you look. It's just a matter of if your eyes, ears, and brain is open to receive those, right? So, we got a few minutes left. I'm gonna pop out one of my last questions for John Anthony here, since we're kind of talking about this, right now. Influences that you have from film directors, who are some, if you have any film directors that have been any kind of influence on you and your career going forward now and going forward?
Oh man. I don't know if I have specific directors, but I have films, like specific
Perfect.
films I think
Perfect.
influenced me. Because if we're talking directors, I guess Sam Raimi's one of them where I'm like, dude,
Okay. Yep.
that's the go. You know, just his story as well is like it's inspiring as well. You know, him and his friends got together and they made Evil Dead 1, and then they used that movie to pitch Evil Dead 2.
Damn.
They're all like film students too, which is great. But
Is that where the game comes from as well?
what was that?
Was there a game that was called Evil Dead?
There's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
stuff Evil Dead now.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was gonna say.
it all started from one guy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, major influences that I think have influenced my storytelling and just my life in general. I gotta say, movies that I've watched as a kid, right? Like movies that really got me into movies in the first place. So I have to say Shrek 1 and Shrek 2, which is like a few laughs because I'm like especially from like film people, I'm like, dude, like those movies are fire. Okay, just because they're kids movies and anime, they're still good. Anyway, so Shrek 1, Shrek 2, the OG Spider-Man 2, directed by Sam Raimi. Fucking what's it called? The Exorcist, the OG Exorcist. I saw.
Yeah.
That movie's crazy. Hereditary definitely influences me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of movies where I leave watching it and I'm like, dude, that's why I want to do it. You know, like I felt like that after Hereditary as of recently, after watching The Batman with Robert Pattinson, after watching Smile 2. Oh my God. I left Smile 2. I was like, that's why, you know, Terrifier 3, Terrifier 2. Fuck, I don't even know, dude. I watched a lot of movies this month too that I'm like, dude, this is what it's all about. The Wild Robot, that movie just came out. Beautiful movie. I suggest you guys watch if you guys haven't already.
Okay.
Beautiful movie. It's animated, but fuck it. It's one of those movies where it's catered for everyone, kids and adults.
I like that.
So just those are some of the movies that I walk out and I'm like, dude, this is why I do this. Like this is why I want to do this. So
exactly.
Discreet. I'm gonna allow you if you have one more because I got one more last question that I'm gonna ask John Anthony. Do you have anything else that you have to ask before we let him start to get about his business for the rest of the Sunday?
What have you got next in the pipeline?
Yeah, so I got this one project I'm working on that it's pre-production right now. I'm actually in the process of casting. So tomorrow I'm gonna look at all my audition tapes that I got from actors, and I'm gonna shoot that the first weekend of December.
Awesome.
That'll be done, and then I'll take a while for me to like edit it and put it together. All that. And then I think me and my buddies, we also have this idea to make a feature film before we graduate. Which will be dope. It's going to be so fire. This feature film, I think, is going to be unique. And it's going to be very doable for us to do as well. Because that's always the big question, right? It's like, can we do it? Is it doable? Like with our money and, you know, and then it's like, yes, okay, we could do this. Like, yeah. So
when do you think that could be coming out then, John?
Oh, I mean, it could be coming out by the end of maybe by the end of May. We want it to be done by the end of May. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. I'm gonna tell you this. Anywhere along the way, if you need anything to help bring this to fruition, I don't care what it is, because I support what you're doing and what you got going on. And I'm not only here for it and supporting it. If there's anything that I might be able to offer that is in my power or if it's within my reach and it's realistic, bro, it is yours. I mean that.
I really appreciate that, brother.
That's real. Anything that
comes from me as well. What Mike just said.
Ask discreet, bro.
Right now. Thank you, guys.
I'm a dude, John Anthony. One thing that you'll get to know about me, bro. I call myself a puzzle maker. I make shit happen. I put pieces of a puzzle together. So if you ever get to a point where like, I don't know how this could be done or how we're gonna do this or we need this, I mean it, bro. You got my number. You got my number, bro. Reach out to me because discreet could tell you, I make shit happen. I make shit happen. So
Amazing.
you got a source available to you, bro, should you ever need it. And I mean that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, guys. Wow, that's very sweet of y'all. Thank you so much.
Because real talk, I wanna if there's anything that I can help you along the way to bring this to fruition, I'm here, bro.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Real talk. So that's my message to you. And then I will let you answer this question, and then you could just write it out, bro. Say whatever else you want to say after answering this question, and we're gonna let you get about your Sunday, my brother. So my question is to you: what can people expect from John Anthony, the filmmaker, and what you're going to be bringing to us going forward in general?
Okay. Real human stories mixed in with crazy like with my brain, like real stories that are, real with real people, but they're in crazy supernatural settings, or they're in crazy wild situations, but they're real. What else? And hopefully unique films. I'm really trying to be as unique as possible, and well-written stories. I'm a writer as well, and I think the best movies always come from a really good script. So
definitely.
Good writing, good team, and good productions. Like I know that I'm going to be like having some very, very professional productions that I think everyone's going to be pretty impressed by the quality of these films that I'm going to pump out soon. So yeah, I mean, just be on the lookout. If you guys the festival that my school does in April, which is fire. If you guys can make it to that, that'd be really cool. You'll see all the films that get in from like students that put their heart and soul into these projects as well. Hopefully as mine gets in as well. But yeah, I'll let you guys know more about that.
No, please do.
Yeah.
You and I are definitely going to stay linked in general. I know you and Discreet definitely have some scoring to talk about. As well. So we're
like
here.
I said, I'm out of action until like early December, but yeah.
Sounds fire. Sounds great.
So now I'm here for it, bro. We're gonna stay linked in 100%. I'm gonna, with what I got going on with Groove and Groovy Hospitality, I'll be doing a lot more traveling out that way. So I'll keep you in the loop, bro. We are definitely locked in, man, for sure. And I'm very excited to see what you're going to be bringing to the world, bro. Very, very excited.
Really, really appreciate that, guys. Thank you guys so much for having me on this podcast.
Thank you. We appreciate you having the time and taking the time with us, bro.
Sit down and talk to me. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Awesome.
John Anthony, be well. You have a good Sunday. And give my shout out to everybody in your crew as well, bro.
I got you. Guys.
All right,
Thank you so much, man. We'll stay in touch, guys. See ya.
Absolutely. Mr. Discreet.
Yo.
What a dope conversation.
That was awesome.
Dope conversation.
Yeah, definitely, man. I couldn't believe he was 21. After a while, I suddenly thought he's young. But let's ask how young. And yeah, 21, man. He's got the world at his feet. If
like
he's all, he could be like an actual big movie director in like 10, 12 years time.
He's going to be. And I don't think it's gonna take that long, because I kid you not, bro. Like that Thursday that I met him, I hadn't even left Connecticut yet, and I was messaging him being like, "Yo, you got to be on our live cast, bro."
Definitely.
We'd like to have. So I'm glad that we were able to make that happen, and big things to come from him, man. I can sense it, because like for real, the way that he was talking about it in that conversation that I referenced earlier, bro, this dude's got passion. This dude's got passion, bro.
Fucking right. Too true. And talking about passion, right? Like I put that video on my YouTube and it got blocked. Copyright, and sort of rightly so. Fair enough. But I thought of a way that maybe I could do a mix like that without it getting blocked. Well, I don't think it'll get blocked. I could do a mix of Forever Fresh music.
Yes, you could.
I don't think that'll get blocked.
No, it will not.
Because a lot of it will come from the Forever Fresh label, and unless Doe's blocking it, which I don't think he would, And yeah, so
You're
that's
going to be good to go there.
That's one way I'm getting around that.
I like it, my brother. I like it. So what do you got going on the rest of the day? You gonna be doing some DJing today? What do you got going on today?
Hopefully I want to be honest. But yeah, I've got my daughter's just messaged me about going to a fireworks display tonight, so I want to just find out a bit more information about that. And then once that's sorted, yeah, I'll probably be doing a little bit of DJing and just chilling.
There you go.
And I might update my website. Well, I say I might. I need to. I know I need to, so I should.
Yeah.
Say, not I might. At least I should.
Well, you get on that, my brother. I know we're going to link up because we're going to do this week's hip hop history. We could do that whenever you want. I'm going to get us linked off. I'm going to get us linked off of here. You and I will connect. But yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, the Outsiders. That's our show for the day. Thank you, John Anthony, for joining us and talk about his filmmaking experiences, his passions, where it started, his influences. But yeah, what we're going to do going forward is, we're going to keep our conversations. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have hip hop history and our hot takes all be in one separate part of the show. So make sure y'all are tuning in for that, because our conversations with our guests have been going so well that we want to really make that the meat and the potatoes of being outside.
The full show on a Sunday.
Yes, but we are
none of our crap.
We are not getting away from our hip hop history or our hot takes at all.
That's going to be a separate side piece on YouTube, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel, We Outside Live Podcast YouTube channel. You can catch everything there, even before we edit them down and actually put it up. So thank you as always, Discreet, for your time. Thank you to the Outsiders for joining us again. To our special guest today, John Anthony. Tune in. Go give him a follow.
Definitely.
You got some dope
stuff. I've got to get connected.
Yes, buddy. All right, man. Well, we're going to log out of here, and then we're going to link up, and we'll get some shit done. So I'll talk to you here in a few minutes.
All right, and bro. Awesome.
All right, bro.